Welcome back to our show, your show, Let's Talk Stocks. And back with us in studio this morning is Mr. Horace Hines, is Managing Director of Jane Money Services, and Mr. Kerry Scott, Head of Jane Real Estate. Whatever that need is, Jane can do it for you. Welcome back, gentlemen. You know, Kerry, a couple of years ago, we saw the real estate boom really taking set. We saw in Kingston where they would have bought whether Richmond Park, whether Vineyard Town. You saw these old communities being taken over by high-rise buildings, and you say, but who is going to be able to afford these things? There has to be a time when it just gone out of whack. It just can't continue. Yeah. And so we thought that at one moment, well, the pension funds and so on, yes. And there were some, people coming from abroad to work, and you say, well, yes, some of those. But how are we as Jamaicans going to be able to afford these things? Is it doable continuously? But we now gone a year. You're saying all the way to Maypen.
I mean, look, a lot of persons thought that by now we would have seen it slowing down a bit.
Busted.
Precisely. No, but what we're seeing is the average person who would have already owned a property, maybe 10 years ago they would have purchased their first property. We are now seeing persons now trying to put their finances together to be able to purchase a second or a third property specifically for investment. So the average person is now building out their investment portfolio in a way that it's no longer about coming with dollars and cents and handing it to an investment house to give you interest. Persons are now putting that money, what we call, into the ground, and they're seeing it, and they're seeing the growth from it. Simply because when we look at how or the appreciation of property values, we're seeing property values are appreciating by 15% on an annual basis. In some instances, it depends on what is happening around the property that you purchase. So, like for instance, in Vineyard Town, just to give you some data, in Vineyard Town, 5 years ago, a half acre lot would be worth about 20-25 million. Yeah. That same half acre lot right now is valued at 60 million, and that's primarily because 5 years, and that's primarily because what is happening around it. I give you another piece of interesting information. In Portmore, there's a stretch of land in Portmore Pines. There's a stretch of land that is there. I believe you have Portmore Pines and Lasushan and all those places are there now. That stretch of land, a 2-acre parcel of land in 2015 was valued at 28 million. That same 2-acre lot of land on that stretch is now valued at 200 million. So, and that
so
is...
I need to go check the
you need to go check,
the value of a quad.
You need to, yes, absolutely.
But interestingly, the price of the quads have moved significantly.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you had one on that stretch, that the price smart and stuff is on, the value has significantly moved.
Yeah. So we are seeing astronomical movements. Let's look at rental rates. Now, rental rates for commercial property in Portmore, again along that stretch. 5 years ago, rental rates, and typically we do it we quote it in US. Yes, what rental rates 5 years ago were anywhere between $10 to $15 per square foot. Now we're seeing $30 per square foot. Same stretch, and all of that is being driven because of all the major development that is coming on around the areas. And remember, 10 years ago, I'm not sure, Horace, if you, I believe you were there. There was a research that was done by, I believe it's Cashby, that research by university, and at that time, what the number of houses that were needed in Jamaica, we were way below the demand. So we are now inching up to the demand level, but we're still, even with what is happening, we're still way below.
You know, here's the thing. As this continues, and it's likely to continue.
It is
Jamaica
likely.
is
Very
in
likely.
a different phase.
Yes.
Certainly after 2015, number one stock market and all of that, there was a change.
Yes.
Came out of after the bond changes,
Right.
you know, and we saw a different Jamaica. And it has caused, you know, stock market and a number of things. The capital markets has changed. And real estate,
Yes.
really with it. As you spoke about rental income, a rental of an ordinary two-bedroom in Portmore, I'm hearing 70 odd thousand.
70, it depends on where.
That's you.
I mean,
Can't find it.
no, I can tell you, I recently rented a two-bedroom, a standard two-bedroom unit, two bedroom, one bathroom for $130 in Portman for $130,000.
Can our people afford this?
They are affording it.
Is it Horace that's bringing it? No, because as we look at it, are we going in circles? So originally the money came in to build. People overseas are investing. We know a lot of our earnings are not at that level.
Yeah.
Are we now seeing in reverse that to ensure that we are able to have a good standard of living, living in a good place, even if we have to rent it, that you're getting some of that money coming in?
I mean, some come through there. On an average month, 800,000 transaction comes in for remittances. And the vast majority of that goes towards family support, right? So whether it is to take care of kids, older family members, or just if you have a house here that you're maintaining, to take care of those. I think what's driving, well, the price of development is that some of us will not be able to live in the center of Kingston anymore. And it's a reality as Jamaica continues to develop. Some say we are in a golden window for our country, whether it continues for another 10 years. We don't know. But what will happen is, can you and I still afford to live 2 minutes away from New Kingston, right? Or a lot of us won't be able to. So Portmore now becomes that city that we have all dreamed of, that would become that area in the Caribbean. With the hybrid work situation, a number of persons now don't go into office every day. So living in Portmore is not that high a cost because you don't have to commute every day. The conveniences are there, right? Whatever. I have persons who have said that most of what they need are now in and around them. Do they need to come into Kingston? No. And so what we need, and we see it happening in areas of Spanish Town as well, that development is going out. In Maypen, there has been some development. So people are now finding conveniences in and around where they live. So they need to come into one city center, which is Kingston, is slowly reversing. So I think that we are seeing the development. Mindset would have to be changed in terms of where we live. We don't always have to live in Kingston 6 or Kingston 8 to have a good standard of living. So that's happening there. Some monies do come in for some of those, but I think that persons who live and work in Jamaica, there's this push as well for improved standard of living and on to salaries. You see, minimum wages now have been increased twice over the last year. So salaries are also moving, and people are paying good monies to live in decent housing.
All right, as I sit there giving Mary rock up signal, and we have so much to talk
Yes,
about.
that is,
Come back.
absolutely.
But as I see that, Jane, you've been here 150 years.
150 years.
What is it that makes Jane the choice? I mean, you've morphed yourself, you've gone from building society, commercial banking, everything, money services. Talk to me about Jane and why the people should come to Jane.
So I mean, Jane is what we like to call an authentic Jamaican brand. Interestingly, I had an interview with two agents who were looking to join Jane Properties just yesterday, and both persons said the same thing, that they wanted to join Jane because they saw Jane as an authentic Jamaican brand, a brand that believes in growth, right? And one of the things that we have, which is why I believe we have existed for so long, is because we have that Jamaican authenticity, right? We always, from starting in Savlamar, with just an idea, and that idea was to ensure that the lives of the average Jamaican becomes better. And I think on the back of that, Jane has consistently, over the years, continued to build, continue to look at new ways that we can make the average Jamaican, better off in his regular daily life.
Horace, final word?
Well, as at Jane, we say we'll help you to find a way. And so that's why we have the multitude of companies within this conglomerate, that there is something for everyone to make your life better. And so whether you're starting at a very small business, micro business, we have had significant successes where we have changed thousands of lives by offering that product. Home ownership, savings and investment, money movement in terms of remittances, property management, real estate, we are all under one shop. And as we say, come right in, we'll always find a way to help you.
Couldn't have said it better. These gentlemen are from Jamaica National. Horace Hines is the man in charge of Jane Money Services. And of course, Kerry Scott, in charge of the real estate, Jane Properties. And they are telling you, as they always say at Jane, we'll find a way. That's why we always say here on Let's Talk Stocks, we give you information to make better financial decisions. Come back with us. Tomorrow morning at 9, we'll have another great show lined up for you.